Welcome to the Worldsmith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creations. In this particular video, we will be looking at the outdated 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible in the outdated man-based religions of the world. As we look at this outdated Christian religion that's supporting a Greek and Roman man-based image of God in the white robe with blue eyes and blonde hair, hovering in the black outer regions of space, which is false. And this is where this video begins to take off at, exposing the false man-made religions that is brainwashing 100 million Americans all around the world. When we talk about the man-based image of God versus the true solar hydrogen light shining 93 million miles away across the black outer regions of space towards the 5 billion year old earth in which it created, we see 1 John 1:1 biblical light as the 15 billion year old sunstone in astronomy that created the 5 billion year old world in the black outer regions of space. Now when we talk about the ball-shaped female earth ovum, in order to give you an exact image of what I discovered in Microbiology 101, is that if you place the blue earth in the left hand, the ball-shaped earth in the left hand, and go into the ovarian tract of a woman and take the ovum out of the ovarian tract, it's so small you would need a pair of tweezers to pick it up. But when you take it out, you'll see that it's exactly shaped like a brown basketball. So I call it the ball-shaped female earth ovum. So if you put the earth ovum in your right hand and the blue ball-shaped earth in your left hand, if you run the left hand in outer space around the sun, we will see that's the 360 day orbit of Earth around the sun in outer space, which gives us a year. Now if you do the same with the right hand, where you hold the ball-shaped female earth ovum 45, if you run your right hand around the sun in outer space, you will see that how did humans get on Earth in the ball-shaped female earth ovum? Here's where we discovered the epithelial cells that make up the ovum cell walls, original Holyhydrogen light of creation, as it's seen glowing around the chemical circular area of the cell in this ionized circular Holyhydrogen light of creation plasma form. So when we look at the black woman, the white woman, the Asian woman, the European woman, all giving birth to 1 John 1:1 15 billion year old sunstone, original Holyhydrogen light of creation, the Holyhydrogen light of creation that existed in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion year old world. This is one major and archaeological and theological and microbiological discovery in which this video hopes to address. Now, when we look at the black woman punking her black man, you say, how is the black woman punking her black man? Well, if you go into the neighborhood churches or your neighborhood, anytime a black beautiful sister holding up a 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible that was written by Daniel A. 12 Greek and Roman conquerors over the biblical Holy Land, that's where we see the Greek and Roman conquering eye upon the African lion sphinx of Judah in Egypt, his Ethiopian cross-shaped building structure in modern Lalibela connected to the dome of the rock outer wall stone rectangular window frame, where we see a 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid square flanking the central Ethiopian cross. Well, when we look at this denial of the black African lion sphinx in front of the Isaiah 1919 Giza pyramids, original solar theology in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible, we must first identify the source of the problem of the man-based religions. It's outdated, first of all, and when we look at the solar hydrogen light feeding all of the humans on Earth, that's when sunlight strikes the bar-shaped Earth soil and ground soils and oceans, we see vegetation being created through photosynthesis. So in actuality, a reality check says that it is the sun of the African lion sphinx in front of the Egyptian pyramids, the original solar theology, where 1 John 1:1, biblical 15 billion year old sun throne that existed in the black outer reaches of space, got its origin from in the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible. So who's feeding all of the normal hidden humans that was created in Genesis 2:7? None other than Malachi 4:2 winged sun dance. That's the biblical holy hydrogen light of creation, in which 1 John 1:1 speaks of as the biblical light that existed before the world, the 5 billion year old world, and the biblical light that created the 5 billion year old world in the black outer reaches of space. So a reality check says a white man with blue eyes and blonde hair called Jesus or Jehovah is not feeding the world. Make a note of that. So who's feeding all of the normal hidden humans walking on the bar-shaped earth as it orbits around Psalms 84:11 sun throne, where 1 John 1:1 15 billion year old sun throne, original holy hydrogen light of creation, can be seen striking the bar-shaped earth and producing fruits, vegetables, apples, and oranges through photosynthesis. Now, when we come back to the punking of the black man by the black woman in the 400-year-old mistranslated, outdated Christian religion, we must make two comparisons to when a Christian woman stands up and tells her husband or boyfriend that Jesus is God. First of all, it's a false statement, which proves that the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible thumpers has been brainwashed by the Greek and Roman conquerors over the biblical Holy Lands. Okay, this is where we see the African lion sphinx pyramids of Isaiah 19:19 on the back of the American dollar bill. That means that if you take a dollar bill out your pocket or purse and turn it over, you'll see that the African lion sphinx of Judah, the Lion of Judah pyramids, has been conquered by the Greek and Roman conquerors of Daniel 8:12, who blew the nose off the Sphinx. And 400 years ago, in 1611, we see the King of England appointed 72 Greek and Hebrew scholars to fly to the Holy Land, to Giza and Gaza and Palestine and Jerusalem, to study the Islamic Aramaic Dead Sea Scrolls, the origin in which the Greek and Roman conquerors that conquered Africa and Egypt and the Lion Sphinx of Judah pyramids of Giza and Gaza. They placed their eye in front of the pyramid on the back of the on the back of the dollar bill. So the Lion Sphinx of Judah was the chief focus of the Dome of the Rock outer wall stone rectangular window frames. So where we see 1, 2, 3 group in the pyramid squares flanking the central Ethiopian cross. That's the second level of the octagonal building structure outer wall surface area that has the Golden Dome. So that's the Dome of the Rock. Now the Al-Aqsa Mosque is that rectangular structure, okay, that has the Great Dome in back of the octagonal building structure called the El-Saqra Mosque, or the Dome of the Rock. Now when we come back to the punking of the black man by Christian women, the area in which I seek to explore is the biological aspect of God in relationship to the solar and astronomical aspect of definition of God. Now, when we look at the human cell in microbiology 101, immune chance magnified, we see a chemical circular area for the cell, a black dot in the center for the cell nucleus. So all of the cells that make up your physical chemical body, your blood, the bone cells, they appear as chemical circles with black dots in the center at the cell nucleus. When we see 1 John 1:1, 15 billion year old holy hydrogen light of creation glowing in its ionized circular holy hydrogen light of creation plasma form around the chemical circle of the human cell, we have redefined 1 John 1:1, biblical light, the light of every man that cometh into the world. Now this is a news flash for every Afro-American minister and preacher in every neighborhood church. So when I talk about educating the black ministers in every neighborhood church, I'm talking about recognizing the holy hydrogen light of creation that existed in 1 John 1:1 as the 15 billion-year-old sun stone as it shines 93 million miles away across the black outer regions of space. So as we uncover this biblical holy hydrogen light of creation of the ball-shaped female earth ovum, epithelial cells, giving birth to the biblical light that existed before the world, in which lived in the ball-shaped female earth ovum of Mother Mary for 9 months before it was born as a little goo-goo gaga. So when we educate the ministers and preachers in every neighborhood church, we are introducing microbiology, in which the parishioners of that church should have known since they graduated from high school. So most of them have attended college. So when you talk about educating the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible outdated religion concerning the biblical light that existed before the world and the biblical light of the world, it has nothing to do with the Greek and Roman false man-made image of Jesus or Jehovah. This is what I mean by re-educating the outdated Christian religion. Now, when we realize that the hydrogen light of the sun, shining 93 million miles away across the black outer reaches of space, is actually feeding all of the normal hitting humans walking on the ball-shaped earth. That's a note that you must make a note of. Okay. So it has nothing to do with the Greek and Roman man-made false image of Jesus or Jehovah. This was added into the King James Bible by Daniel H. Wells, Greek and Roman conquerors over the biblical Holy Land area of Giza, Gaza, Gath, Palestine, Ethiopia, and Jerusalem. But now, when we return back to the man-made image, false man-made image of God, we must identify why this man-made image of God in the form of Jesus and Jehovah is false. Then we must identify what is the true image of God in our solar system. Now, here's where we rediscover the sun. You say, well, what is that? That's 1 John 1:1, 15 billion year old holy hydrogen light of creation that existed in the black outer regions of space before it created the 5 billion year old world. Now, on the home computer scanner, if you push the button to scan and erase a little while it's scanning, you see nothing but a bright white light. If you put your hand in front of that white light, it sees your hand. That means that the white light we discover going around the chemical circular area of the human cell 75 in microbiology has consciousness, just like the home computer scanner white light can scan a picture or see your hand. So that white light we see around the human cell is the hydrogen light element of the human soul. And now here's where we begin to identify God the light versus God the false man-made image in the form of Jesus and Jehovah. So when we use education, biology, astronomy, we see that the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible has been punking the black woman, okay, and the black woman has been punking her black boyfriend or husband. You say, well, what's the punking scenario? Well, it deals with a black man carrying the seed of God in his testicles. And it deals with the white man, false man-made image, in which the Christians is punking their husbands and boyfriends with. The idea that only one white man is God. Now this is where we say, take the clothes off of Jesus, and we see a naked Jesus standing in the living room. Take the clothes off your punk black husband or boyfriend, so we have a naked black man standing in the living room next to a naked Jesus. Here's where reality check kicks in. Okay? If you have a naked Jesus in the room and a naked black man in the room, they both have testicles. That's a reality check. So you take the sperm out of the testicles of Jesus and magnify it with an electron microscope, you're going to see a tadpole like sperm cell with a bright phosphorus, radioactive glowing phosphorus hydrogen with a light at the head. So it's a phosphorus light at the head of Jesus' sperm cell. Now you go into your black man testicles standing in the living room, We have a naked Jesus and a naked black man, just to expose why the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible is outdated. Okay, where we see the black woman castrating her black man when she tell her black man that worked hard all day to pay the bills and stuff that a white man with blue eyes and blonde hair is God. So she just castrated